This is a demonstration of the LawToolBox Leap app. To start with, I'm going to open up a matter here and use the app, which is accessed from the Calendar and Tasks tab. Here's our LawToolBox app. And in this case, I'm going to choose the toolset for this jurisdiction, which is going to be a New Jersey Superior Court civil matter. And I'm going to choose the date of initial pleading here. And then just to keep everything on a single calendar so it's easy to see, I'm going to put this in April. We'll say it happened on April 1st. Here's our two deadlines, and we will go ahead and add them to the matter and to our calendar. There's our two deadlines created. They appear in our Leap matter as well. And they also appear here in our Outlook calendar. That is the first use case for the LawToolBox app. A second use case might be, for example, changing a date. Let's say that April 1st was wrong. I should have actually put it on the 25th here. If we do that, the LawToolBox app will automatically recalculate this follow-on deadline so that it follows the first deadline the appropriate number of days as required by that particular rule. So right now we're just waiting for Outlook to contact Leap, which then passes it on to LawToolBox app, which then connects, recalculates the deadline, and as you can see, it jumped back to the 14th here, which matches the number of days that this particular deadline is meant to follow from the original trigger date. Now the next use case would be for a rule change notification. If a particular rule changes and causes the follow-on deadline to happen on, for example, a different date, a different number of days. I've prepared one in advance, and you might have noticed this notification here. If we click on it, we can see that there is a rule change notification letting us know that there's been a rule change that may affect one of our deadlines. And we can click on that to open up the matter in question. And once again, we just go to the Calendar and Tasks tab to launch the app. Once we do, we can see here that there is a notice of a rule change on this particular deadline. Make note of the dates here. This occurs on May 5th, followed by a deadline 7 days later on the 12th. If we look at the actual rule change itself, the notification we get here is that there was a change in the offset. So now it's going to follow 14 days later instead of 7. So we'll go ahead and apply that change here. And at this point, the deadline is being recalculated by the LawToolBox app. And in a moment, we will see the deadline change in the background here. And there it is. It's now occurring 14 days after the original trigger date. And that is reflected in Leap as well as in our Outlook calendar. If we go look for it here, that was in May, and there's our first deadline, and there's our second deadline 14 days later. Now our final use case would be if we wanted to set a critical date, or if a deadline corresponded to a critical date in Leap, which affected the matter status. So for that, I'm going to choose a different matter. Now in this matter here, note the matter status is in progress. And we are going to choose a deadline which corresponds to the date filed. So we'll go in here, we'll choose our tool set, which for this one, because it's bankruptcy, will be federal. And we'll go in and date action commenced. And the date action commenced deadline has been set to match up with Leap's date filed critical date. This is something that we've done on our side using an internal tool which allows us to control the mappings. So for any LawToolBox deadline, we can associate it with a Leap critical date if we believe that they are related. So we'll go ahead and add this deadline, or add these 5 deadlines. And you'll see in the background there the date filed changed to the date action commenced complaint filed right here. And if we look at the icon, we can see that it tells us the appointment was based on a critical date. And because that date is today, the rules associated with that critical date, which update the matter status, have also been triggered, which causes the matter status to change to filed instead of in progress. And those are the use cases for the LawToolBox Leap app. Thank you.